Anyways, the safety circle, if you're winning the toss, just bowl first. Oh.
We are live, day 1 of the Asia Cup, but all our attention is still on
Day 2.
Day 2.
On day 2, India versus Pakistan. Well, it's been quite a busy day. A lot has happened. We got to know what Virat Kohli, in fact, he spoke on mental health, on his mental health, how he was trying to fake his intensity, and a lot has been spoken about that interview that Virat has.
Why this break was so important and valuable for him. And it's a very, very candid and open admission on his mental health situations and all, and the rigors of being an international cricketer. I mean, even at the start of the interview, he said that I'm glad that I'm able to be in a room with people where there is media activity, where there is buzz, where there is a feel of a big game tone, because he himself admitted that bubble life was becoming very hectic for him mentally.
I think, see, as far as bubble life is concerned, in the last 2.5 years, Virat has spoken about this, bubble life, quarantine and everything, traveling from one place to another, and then you have to spend time in your hotel room as part of the quarantine, and about the mental fatigue. But here, of course, he was going through a bad phase, and thereafter what has happened, he took a break of almost a month, and he says that he didn't touch his bat, and that hasn't happened in his entire lifetime.
For the first time in 10 years, he didn't pick up a bat for a solid month.
Clearly, I think he feels that, the burnout is real and is affecting his game. That's why otherwise he would not be admitting that, I haven't touched a bat. And
exactly. And our colleague Nikhil Nas is there in Dubai. In fact, you must have seen that report that he sent yesterday. In fact, he was closely observing rather, what was happening in that practice session. Of course, today also there is a practice session as we speak, but that's an optional one. So those who want to come and train, they are free to go there. And there is one more match that is about to start. Of course, toss has happened, and that is Sri Lanka versus Afghanistan.
Opening match of the Asia Cup.
Afghanistan have chosen to bowl.
Exactly.
Again, not much of a shock there.
They've chosen to, and soon we'll be joined by Nikhil from Dubai, and we'll get to see or get to hear what he has to say, what has happened today there in Dubai. Rohit Sharma came out in the press for the press conference. He didn't speak much on the playing combination, but we discussed yesterday, and I would be surprised if that's not the playing 11. Is it true? All right, I think we have Nikhil with us.
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Perfectly.
loud and clear. So, Nikhil,
Okay, yeah.
what's the latest?
Latest is it's been very, very hectic. We spent the entire evening listening to Babar Azam and Rohit Sharma. And it was great press conferences. Sometimes you get very rehearsed answers from most players. This time it was refreshing in both press conferences. We heard from Babar Azam talking about the Pakistan team. One question was asked to him that, listen, you are not being boasting about it.
Nikhil,
But you can hear me?
Nikhil, we can hear you, but I think you'll have to rotate your screen.
Yes.
So you are basically perpendicular to.
Yep.
I don't know why that is happening. Is it better?
Yes.
Now this is fine. Yeah, sorry.
So you can see.
Sorry, you may continue, please.
Hi, can you hear me now? Is this better now?
Yeah, we could hear you. I think just the camera angle was problematic. This is better.
This is fine. This is fine. Yeah, please go ahead. Carry on.
Okay, so I'm just fixing my one little thing while I'm also talking. Now I can hear you better. So maybe there was something at my end. Okay, great. So just to let you know where I am, I'm right now at the practice session behind me is the two teams, both teams practicing simultaneously. So you've got the Indian team and you've got the Pakistan team both practicing. But today is an optional training session. So when I'm looking at the Pakistan team, they have most of their players coming for training today, and they're training in the adjacent area in that other net. Whereas the Indian team, I saw a lot of people have opted out of the training session today. That's because what the Indian team has thought that it's good to give players some rest before the match begins against Pakistan, and I can't fault them at all because it's been very, very hot here in Dubai, really hot. I was just talking to Harbhajan Singh, and our conversation was around let alone play cricket, even standing here is so tough. So I asked him, how do you play? He said, I don't know. Actually, now when I'm standing in this heat, it seems impossible to play. So it's great that the teams have decided to, make it an optional training session, be a bit relaxed. We spoke to Yuzi Chahal in the morning, who said that, listen, 3 years we've had intense training, so it's good to have some sort of, breather here. So that's why the teams have decided not to practice. I mean, it's an optional practice. Majority of Indian star players are missing from the practice session. So this is where we come from. I think going forward, I'll also tell you many interesting things about the press conference and other happenings around Dubai and this India versus Pakistan clash.
Did you manage to get some juice from any of the players? You don't have to name them,
What kind of juice?
No, that depends on what you tell us.
Orange, apple, pineapple, which one?
You depends. You must have spoken to a lot of people there because
Yes.
A good thing is that after a long time I've noticed that players are available. They are interacting with journalists. They are interacting with fans. They are they can shake hands with their fans and everybody. So you must have interacted. I believe at least the pictures suggest. So I'm sure. See, you spent time with Rohit Sharma yesterday. Thereafter, you spent some time with a few other players. Dinesh Karthik. You didn't ask DK if he was playing.
No, I didn't ask him that. So I tell you what, all our
because you already know, I guess.
No. It's not that, and it would have been very awkward to ask Dinesh Karthik himself whether you're playing or not. And I guess his answer would have been, I don't know. It's up to the team management. I'm here available to play. But I must tell you one thing, by the way. Yesterday at the practice session, everyone who was here will vouch for this fact, that if there was one guy who was hitting it out of the park, literally in the Indian batting, it was Dinesh Karthik. I can't tell you his sixes were not sixes, they were tenors. There's another adjacent ground behind where the team is practicing, and the boundary line is here. I saw Virat Kohli, I saw Rohit Sharma, I saw Rishabh Pant, all big hitters, but their sixes were just about crossing the boundary line. Dinesh Karthik was hitting sixes that were landing on the pitch of the other ground.
My God.
There, 10 runs. He was hitting, and everyone here we were talking like, oh boy, he was hitting massive sixes. So he has been in good touch, at least what you see in the nets. But again, the rider here is not whatever you see in the nets eventually happens on the ground. So that's the big difference. I'm just letting you know what we saw in the net practice. The other very interesting thing I saw in the net practice was Deepak Chahar, by the way. He was that one Indian bowler who was troubling the batsman, but unfortunately he's not part of that 15. So, as of now, drafted in yes, as of now. So I don't know whether
on the eve of the match,
So basically today.
No, not today. Of course, he will not start against Pakistan. That's for sure. Yeah. So, but on the eve of any of the matches, because you have to play how many? 7. Possibly you can play 7 matches. So, any one fine day, some player can get injured. By the way, I don't know whether it's a cool breeze or what it is. I remember Ankit Kumar is saying, "ये निखिल नाज रमीज राजा क्यों लग रहे हैं?" I think that's because of your hair.
My hair.
Yeah.
And also that I'm wearing
headphone.
headphones, right? Which Ramesh does when he's doing commentary.
Yes.
So because of that, but you're right actually, Rahul. There is now a bit of breeze here that is starting to come, which is slightly relieving. It's about 5:30 in the evening here, so slightly better now. But the day, remember when I did another live on Sports Today in the daytime? Boy, I can't tell you how hot it was. In that 15 minutes, my t-shirt was wet, soaking with sweat. So just imagine how hot it is. But luckily, the matches are day and night under lights, so slightly better in the evenings than it is at the daytime. Just to let you know about the press conferences, the one thing that I've noticed ever since I've been here, that really relaxed team atmosphere. We've shared all those visuals on Sports Day, if you remember.
Yep.
Earlier Virat Kohli speaking to the Pakistani players, but even in terms of fans, you were saying players having access to journalists, but even fans have got a lot of access. I know there's one visual that went viral of a Pakistani fan wanting to hug Rohit Sharma. So today he was asked about it, and the word that was used was unusual. That was so unusual, and Rohit corrected the journalist saying that don't use the word unusual. It may be unusual for you, but for us it's not unusual, because we have experienced that when you go into a cricket field, it doesn't matter if the fan is Indian or Pakistani. At the end of the day, they are cricket fans, and I know that fans from other countries also love us. People who have played for a long time, in our team also know that we get fans from across the world, and they are very, very nice when they meet you. So a true cricket fan loves cricket. So this is something Rohit said. Two things that also stood out. One, a question was asked to Babar Azam about, the Indian journalist asked Babar Azam, listen, why aren't you boasting about your last win? Why aren't you, laying down the gauntlet and sledging or saying that, listen, hey, we won last time, we won as the favorite. There's no, hyperbole from your side. And to which Babar Azam said that, that's done and dusted. It's long gone. Why should we keep harping about the win that happened 11 months ago? We played good on the day, so we're not going to do it. So that's one thing that you saw that no hyperbole from the Pakistan team. And then another question was asked that, listen, this Pakistan team is very different. Yeah, you guys are not, you don't sled very often. You're so friendly, so cordial with other teams. That's not how Pakistani teams were known in the past. They were aggressive, feisty side. Why is this Pakistan team like that? He says, no, it's just a cool bunch, Baba said. We've always been like that. It's not a conscious decision. It's just how this bunch is. And we just want to, play the game well and let our game do the talking. We don't want to be those boisterous, over-aggressive team that you may have known from the past. So these are a few things that really stood out from that press conference of Babar Azam and Rohit Sharma.
Well, that's right. In fact, the former players are more vocal than the current players from Pakistan,
Yes.
if you notice. Nikhil, there's a question. Actually, a lot, because, of course, that Virat Kohli interview that came out today, a lot is being talked about that, where Virat has admitted or made some startling admissions, if I can say that. He's spoken about his mental health, how he was trying to fake that his intensity. And he said that at times we do things that we don't want to. My mind was saying something else, but I kept pushing my body further and further. Now there's a question from AJ Iskon, our regular viewer. So he's saying, so for me, Virat Kohli is back. It's 90% mental, and he was mentally down, which Virat himself admitted, faked, didn't accept. Just that when he finds his touch, he's already, which he's already not,
if he's not
found that.
Yeah.
So you were there, you saw the practice session. In fact, I saw that report that you had sent last evening. You watched him pretty closely. What do you make of this comment from AJ Iskon and in general about Virat Kohli?
Okay, so you'll allow me 5 minutes now just to sum up that thing, because I have a lot of thoughts on, listening to Virat. I saw him yesterday. In fact, Rohit was asked about Virat Kohli coming back after a break. So Rohit said that my first impression is just the same. He's not doing anything different. He is just the same guy who, was playing a month ago. He's taken a break. Maybe he's mentally refreshed, but you don't see him panic or do anything extraordinarily different in the time that I saw him while batting in the nets. And those are the impressions that I also had while while watching him from the outside. I did notice a few things that he was doing which are very unusual, which are like, playing a reverse sweep and things like that, which he was attempting. And you know that Virat is so conventional when he comes to batting, he doesn't do this. So I thought maybe this was a conscious decision he worked on. But my bubble was burst because, as you know, we met Yuzi Chahal in the morning and I told Yuzi that, listen, Virat playing a lot of reverse sweep against you, that's something new. And Yuzi said, you know what, he's been doing that in the past as well. He does it, but the difference is he only does it in the net. You seldom see him do it in the match in the middle. So Yuzi then informed me that no, he does play the reverse sweep against me in the nets, but usually you don't see him employ that in the match. So that's Virat where he is as a batsman. Now going to his interview, I have two thoughts on it, and I'm a bit split on both occasions. One, there is a side of me which is very happy to see Virat Kohli being so candid and honest and coming out and saying things which none of us knew. For example, him in first time in the 10 years not wanting to pick up a bat. That's a revelation to me. We had no idea, and I think that's where these interviews are a great idea because it helps you understand and go into the thought process or the thinking of a player. Because more often than not, then what happens if the player doesn't speak, then you and I sit every evening on the dugout and speculate. So it's good to hear from the player to actually tell us what he was thinking instead of us trying to second guess him or trying to understand what is the thought process that he's going through. So in that sense, I love the interview. I love the fact that he's honest. Now it's not easy for big players to be honest and then show their vulnerable side, which Virat did, by the way, by saying that he didn't feel like lifting the bat. He said that he wasn't, every time he walked onto the field he was so motivated, he wanted to give his best. His teammates used to ask him, listen Virat, how do you do it? And suddenly there came a time when he didn't want to do it, right? So he said that, which is great to hear from someone. Now that's the good bit. That is the good bit. Now what is the worrying bit for me? The worrying bit for me is that for the first time, how is it that I viewed Virat Kohli, or how is it that most fans view Virat Kohli?
Exactly.
As Superman. We viewed him as Superman, and I want that image of Virat to be that of Superman. For the first time, I am now beginning to realize he's not Superman. He's just human like all of us, like you and I, which is a good thing, as I said, pointing out earlier as to look at. But that worries me because I also didn't want that image to be shattered. I wanted to keep that image of Virat Kohli being the Superman. That's what made him different. That's what made so many lakhs and lakhs of people fall in love with Virat Kohli, the player. For the first time now, I'm beginning to see that he's not Superman, he's human. Okay, fine. We accept that as most people. Now what happens, as soon as I know that you're human, you can go through bad times, you can get through bad phases, then that throws in another thing in my mind, another thought into my mind which worries me, that because he's human, that means he may not have answers to everything. And that is the thought that worries me. Because he's not superhuman, because he's like you and I, that means he can reach a state where he may not know what the best way is to get back to being Superman. Now, he's tried one thing, which is take a break. Okay, he said he was never in a situation like that. He tried that thing, he's taken a break. Maybe this is what works for him. And maybe he knows that this is the path to be taken. But the thing that worries me is that he's human. Maybe this is also not the right path. We don't know. Only time will tell whether that works. So, as I said, I'm in a conundrum. As someone who admires Virat Kohli, the batsman, I'm in a conundrum because at one point I think that I always thought that, listen, whatever you guys are thinking, he's 10 steps ahead. He understands the game better. He knows how to get back into form. He's done it in the past. He'll do it again. This time I'm getting to know that no, he's human. He's vulnerable. He had a bit of he reached a bit dead end, and he's trying to find a solution. And he thought maybe this is a good solution, but there's no guarantee that this is a solution. So that's the thing that worries me, and that is what I would want to see. Maybe this was the solution. Maybe taking the break was the one thing that would really help him come back into form. But on the other side, there are equal amount of chances that this was not the right thing. So again, as I said, time will tell, and we'll find out. And this is what I made of the interview. I know I said I'll take 5 minutes. I may have taken 10. So
no, that's perfectly fine. Shane?
Well, obviously, I think one thing that we were always talking about, and one thing which I think we were very curious about yesterday was, team combinations. I think we were all in agreement that, we would be seeing, 3 spinners and 3 pace bowling options, one of them, of course, being Hardik. So, is there any indication as to who those spinners might be? Because I think we're all expecting Ashwin, but the Indian team in the past has, of course, sometimes sprung some surprises. So, is there a chance we get to see a Bishnoi? Is there any indications of that?
Unlikely.
So again, I tell you what. Again, Rohit was asked about the 11, and more often than not, I know that when the team comes, they know their 11.
Yes.
But they're always shy to tell you.
never reveal it.
For the one time, I will kind of agree with Rohit because I don't think they've still decided on the 11, and I'll tell you why. Because the other thing that Rohit points out after that is that they want to see today's game. The thing is that where today's game, Sri Lanka, Afghanistan will be played, the India-Pakistan is going to be played on the same strip.
Yes.
Yes.
Not just the same ground, exactly the same pitch. So firstly, they want to see how the pitch is going to behave, and then they take a call of going with an extra spinner or going with an extra fast bowler. And even if you go for a spinner, who is that spinner that's going to be? I think depending on the nature of spinners, because both Ashwin and Bishnoi are completely different. So I think for one, I'm going to go to agree with Rohit when he says that he's not decided 11, and I think we'll get an idea at the end of tonight's match. The other thing, it's again very contrasting, is what Pakistan has said. Babar came and said he knows what his 11 is decided. So they have decided, irrespective of what happened in the game today, he was just not open to telling you what his 11 is.
Right.
But Pakistan have decided, and of course Hassan Ali doesn't make that 11 because he's only reaching here
tomorrow.
So it's not very tough to figure out who the fast bowlers are going to be for them.
I think that was the confusion here also. A few people in the organization, when they heard Babar Azam, he said Hassan kal aa raha hai. So basically, what he meant to say was
he's
that
arriving tomorrow. Most people
in
thought
Dubai.
that he's,
In Dubai, I think a few people thought that wo kal aa raha hai, khel raha hai,
means
wo kal
he'll be
khel raha hai.
playing.
But I think all the more reason when Rohit actually said that he's not sure about the dew, but he also said that there was no dew there in Dubai yesterday. And then when he said that the wicket that is going to be used tomorrow will be the same, the one on which today's match is being played. I think all the more reason why you will play three spinners. It's just that you have to pick Ashwin or Bishnoi, and I think as of now it seems Ashwin is the more likelier option compared to Bishnoi. In fact, a lot of people, Nikhil, are asking if you have anything, any inside info on the playing 11. We did discuss this the playing combination, the playing 11 yesterday. I think we all agreed that Rohit, KL Rahul, Virat Kohli, Surya, Hardik, Rishabh Pant, Ravindra Jadeja, Ravi Ashwin, Bhuvneshwar Kumar, Yuzi Chahal and Arshdeep. That could be your playing 11, isn't it?
I think so. You're right. If you ask me, I think that's the most likely 11 that India will go in with because we know this for a fact that if Ashwin was selected, there is a lot of faith that the skipper has in him. So I think it's quite possible that they go in with that. I think only two areas were debatable, whether it's DK and Pant, and I think Pant is ahead in that, so he makes it, and then that will not allow DK to get into the team. The other was, who's that bowler, fifth bowler. So one school of thought was that, okay, you may play an extra batsman and then not play, in DK and then only play with five bowlers. I think that will be the last option, because if you're just going with five bowlers and in that if two of them are your all-rounders in Jadeja and Hardik, I think that's a no-go. So you will not do that. You will go into the sixth bowling option, in which then you've got Bishnoi, Ashwin, even Deepak Hooda, people are saying, but I think Deepak Hooda also an option which they will not exercise. I haven't seen any indication. So that leaves you between Ashwin and Bishnoi, the most likely that you're going to go with. And you're right, I think Ashwin would be slightly ahead because of the faith that the captain has reposed in him, and I think you've got him here, that's why he will play. So I won't be surprised if Bishnoi makes it because of the surprise factor. He can be that X factor who can surprise teams with his quicker one here, and in these conditions he can be dangerous. So he could be a surprise, and I'm not saying that it'll be a right or a wrong thing whether India goes with Ashwin or Bishnoi. It'll be a close fight, but I agree Ashwin may be slightly ahead on that front.
By the way, if you have to look at the indication of the team composition of Afghanistan and Sri Lanka picked two spinners, Afghanistan have three spinners, and Mujib.
But that's by nature. Afghanistan played three spinners.
Yeah. Mujib in particular, he doesn't spin the ball, he's a leg spinner, but he has a quicker one. So perhaps that may be an inclination that Bishnoi could play.
And looking at the body language, Nikhil, because wherever the Indian players go, they they go there anywhere in the world, they are superstars, and these Pakistani cricketers, the body language, it looks a little subdued compared to what we've seen or the players that we've seen in the past. It seems as if when they meet or see the Indian cricketers, for them also it's a fanboy moment. I'm sorry if I'm wrong. Even the likes of Babar Azam, the way he comes across and meets and greets the Indian players, of course, they look very calm, but as far as the Pakistani cricketers are concerned, how's the body language? Do they look like they're under pressure? Especially now that they won a previous game against India, and that too in a World Cup. So, expectations, of course, the Pakistani Awam would expect them to do well again. So, they must be under a bit more pressure, I think. No?
No, the one thing that I have not seen with Pakistan is feeling pressure. They seem very, very relaxed, by the way. We had Shadab come to the press conference yesterday, was in a jolly good mood, very, very relaxed. Some curveballs were thrown at him, a few bounces were thrown at him, handled them with ease. And these were rehearsed sort of things that I'll show. I have this calm demeanor as a plan. I think it was very natural, very relaxed. And so was Babar today, very, very relaxed. Look like so. Pressure is one thing that I haven't seen with the current Pakistani team. But you're right. I think in terms of just the stature, India are way ahead. I mean, much more superstars, and we were accustomed to looking at a few Pakistani teams in the past that used to have a range of superstars in their ranks themselves. So you knew that if there was one place we had Sachin and the Dravids of the world, then you had Mohammad Yusuf and Yunus Khan and Inzam Amul Haq and Shoaib Akhtar and all of them on the other side. So it was always, in terms of man-to-man, always a close fight when it came to star stature. But that, of course, has changed. This is a newish Pakistani team, whereas India has a far more established squad. So in that sense, yes, a bit subdued, you could say, but definitely not under pressure. That's not the word that I associate with the current Pakistan team.
Yeah, probably even man-to-man, if you have to look at it, Pakistan in the bowling department, they lack that experience. I mean, who will spearhead the attack? You have either...
By the way, just to let you know, Siddharth, we had Harbhajan Singh just now, and I'm hoping that thing will also be on
It will be,
giving it. So where Harbhajan actually picked and asked him, pick a better bowling attack, and he's actually picked Pakistan, saying that I'd give them the slight edge in bowling department.
Very
okay, Naseem, Hasnain, Shahnawaz Dani, Shadab. Okay.
Oh.
Because they lack a certain bit of experience, and maybe that unknown factor could play.
And maybe
that unknown factor is probably what is prompting Harbhajan to give them that edge. Probably.
But looking at this batting unit, if you compare Indian batting with Pakistan, I think the meat in their batting is also top 3. For India, till at least the 2019 World Cup, or maybe even till the last T20 World Cup, we relied heavily on our top 3. And the moment they were gone, and majority of the matches, they would single-handedly, this top 3 would win India a majority of the matches. So your middle order wouldn't get that many opportunities, and one fine day in a World Cup game 2019, it happened that your top order collapsed, and we know we were a cycle stand, folded up like a pack of cards. Now, I think the same problem Pakistan might face, because they have a relatively inexperienced middle order, top 3, Mohammad Rizwan, Babar Azam and Fakhar Zaman, but thereafter they
maybe Asif Ali to a
Asif Ali, but how many matches even Asif Ali has played? He's won you a few games in the T20 World Cup, and then again. And I think now our middle order, to me at least, it looks pretty solid. If Pakistan come up with a leg spinner in Shadab Khan, then the great Abdul Qadir's son, Usman Qadir, most likely he will be also. So Rishabh Pant, adds value as a left-hander.
I mean, there is Mohammad Nawaz.
In that 11, no?
There's also Mohammad Nawaz, who's a left armer.
Yeah.
And because look, I don't know why Pakistan did not give a long rope to Imad Wasim, because look, Imad Wasim was a good power play bowler. He could dry up the runs at the start of the power play.
And a good left-hander bat.
Good left-handed bat also. But again, I think the open door, the rotation policy of Pakistan cricket is far more complicated than you had in India. But yeah, perhaps that unknown factor, what Naseem will bring to the table, what Hasnain could bring to the table. Because remember, when Naseem and Hasnain played in Australia, they didn't have a fairly good outing together.
Yeah.
I mean, Naseem was denied a wicket because of consistent no balls. Hasnain was inconsistent with his length. Maybe now he's the finished product.
One thing we have to also remember with Pakistan, it's been said a lot that they are very unpredictable. It's not just about the fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
It's the fear of what they will suddenly raise their game.
Yeah. Pakistan's worst enemy is Pakistan.
Exactly.
It's not the other opponents, that's why. So yeah, perhaps on the bowling front, if Harbhajan's picked that, okay, Pakistan has the edge, but with India, look at the depth that they have. Bhuvi is there. Potentially Arshdeep will play.
Most likely. I think Arshdeep will play.
Ahead of
Chahal, Jaddu, Hardik. That's your 5. And you have a bonus
Ashwin
in potentially Ashwin or / Ravi Bishnoi.
Correct.
So, okay, maybe
And Ashwin
India-Pakistan, that strange factor is there. You can't predict an outright winner every
and
single
Ashwin also because he could be actually useful against the left-handers in the Pakistani team. So that adds value. Ashwin. That is how Ashwin may add value to the team, and also with the bat. There. Okay. Shivraj Singh is saying, any update regarding India's playing 11 against Pakistan tomorrow? He is going with Bishnoi for the third spinner's choice. Shivraj, of course, Rohit Sharma hasn't, he kept his cards close to his chest, didn't reveal the playing 11. He said we haven't decided. And Nikhil also agrees that the team hasn't decided the playing 11. But I think the playing 11 is pretty much decided.
Maybe 1-2 players at most. So they're decided.
Because what dents Bishnoi's chances slightly is that you already have a Yuzi Chahal.
But then Bishnoi is very different.
I know, but then again, Ashwin and off-spinner and a variety.
Bishnoi is more dangerous. I think at times, Bishnoi is more dangerous for left-handers.
Exactly, because he's mostly bowling googly.
Skiddy and
skiddy.
Yeah. So he's a little skiddy sort of. KD Rajput, Haryanvi Singh, is there dew in Dubai? As far as till yesterday, there was no dew, and I don't think there's going to be dew today also. We'll have to see if the match that is currently happening between Afghanistan and Lanka.
Different conditions, because even Kohli said that this will be a challenge because for the first time we are going to play in August. As compared to September, October, the conditions were totally different.
Yeah, mind it will be much hotter now.
Yeah, hot and humid, and especially in Dubai, which is the ring of fire, closed stadium, you won't have that much of breeze assistance also. So that will be a big issue.
Suraj Mohanty thinks that DK will play tomorrow. All right.
Oh, that will be a very interesting call.
Yeah. Who does he come in then?
Anurag,
I think.
Can you play both DK and
you'd be compromising a bowling option.
Yes.
Bowling option, and no, I don't
if
think.
DK plays, then Jaddu's out. That's the only way I see it, if he can fit him, because you can't drop Hardik. If you want to play both Pant and DK, Jaddu goes out.
No, but if you want to keep Jaddu as a part-time spinner, you could remove one spinner and maybe bring him. But I don't see that happening.
That's not happening. That's not happening at all.
I think they're going with 3 spinners and 3.
Yeah, Meet Sony's comment is, why anybody is not talking about Jadeja? 0 wickets against Pakistan last 3 Champions Trophy, Asia Cup 2018 and 2021. He gave away lots of runs. Why he was not dropped and Huda not play?
First off, I don't think they see Huda as a bowling option in T20Is, at least for now.
Yes.
Secondly, Jadeja, I don't think, I don't know.
I would just pick him even as a utility player for his fielding.
For his fielding, and he can hold one end up. He's not a wicket taker in the sense that he's going to be getting you 2 wickets per game. No, he won't. But he can hold up one end and will be economical.
Yep.
At least that's what I think. That's the reason I would keep him there. Plus, of course, he provides some firepower lower down the order, left-hander, which India desperately lacks besides him and Pant.
Yes. I think a call on Huda, whether he plays in the Asia Cup and at the expense of who, that we'll see. But to start with, I think the Indian team will go with Ravindra Jadeja.
Yeah.
Maybe Huda will get an opportunity later as the tournament progresses.
Maybe in the qualifier match against Hong Kong, which they will play on 31st of August. But again, would the Indian team be wanting to chop and change so much? I don't think so. Whatever chopping and changes might happen could happen in the bowling department. They would want to play with the batting
Just to
core
rotate
until
the bowlers also,
Yeah.
especially Bhuvneshwar Kumar.
Yes.
Because
Who you want to be
because
exact,
you've already lost Jasprit Bumrah.
Harshal also is most likely to
Harshal.
out.
So you would want to preserve
Yes.
somebody like Bhuvneshwar Kumar, who's going to be the leader of your pace attack. Although there are signs that Jasprit Bumrah will be back, should be back after the Asia Cup, possibly for the T20 World Cup. But they would want to preserve Bhuvneshwar Kumar.
Yes, that is the thing. So only debate is DK/Pant
Which I don't think will be.
and Ashwin/Bishnoi.
Yeah, that's the two major places where you.
But
think-
DK Pant is, I think it's going heavily in favor of Pant.
Yeah.
And only question is Ashwin/Bishnoi. That will be
I
the
think
only
even that will go in
conundrum.
favor of Ashwin simply
Absolutely.
because Rohit Sharma seems to be a big fan of him. Plus, I mean, he's barely played that much cricket post IPL.
Yeah.
So if you want to see him as an option for the.
If you include Ashwin, all your spinning bases are covered. No, you have a left arm orthodox, you have a leg spinner, and you have a variety.
I thought this was plum.
It looked plump.
Fazal Haq Faruqi, Sunrisers Hyderabad.
Oh, yeah, I think they'll review this, surely.
They should.
Three spinners. Shivraj is saying, would you go with Bishnoi only? He is a wicket taking.
No, to be fair, the thing with Bishnoi is he can be very expensive,
But can take
gets
wickets.
you 2-3 wickets a game.
No, but as far as you have a point, Shivraj, to an extent, but Yuzi Chahal is also a wicket-taking bowler. Yeah, I can agree with you on Ashwin. Maybe he doesn't get those many wickets in
Yes.
T20 internationals. So same is the case with Jadeja. But I still feel that you may need somebody like Ashwin who can create pressure from the other end.
Not given out, by the way.
Maybe pitching.
No,
for-
pitching. I
Pitching
thought
was fine.
Pitching,
Yeah.
I think pitching
Yeah.
on the
What will be Ashwin and Jadeja's roles? Are you looking at them as a wicket-taking option, just for a holding option?
I think holding.
No, see, T20, you can't say that you are looking at them just to dry up runs. See, you always want wickets from your
Yes.
bowlers. So I'm saying, but that is also one of the USPs that they have.
Yep.
They can just hold one end and create pressure when the runs
Yes.
are not coming, and then there
Yep.
is Yuzi Chahal.
Because looking at both of them in the past couple of IPL seasons, especially Ashwin, he's been known for his economy in the middle overs.
Yeah.
Even Jadeja, because the wickets, as far as strike rate is concerned, it's not been that good for both Ashwin and Jadeja.
Even number of wickets, I think. hasn't
Yeah,
been
it's
great.
not been good reading for them. So, are they going to build up the pressure to allow Yuzi and Hardik and Bhuvi and Arshdeep to get the wickets?
Potentially.
If that happens, then I think they would have done their job. You will not be reading too much into the wickets. They'll be looking at the economy rate.
Economy rate or how many runs they drive.
Who will
Absolutely.
control the economy? That will be the key. Two holding bowlers or one holding bowler, then Bishnoi comes in, he'll be attacking but he'll leak runs. What do you want in that case?
I think considering the way the conditions are,
Yeah.
they might just go for, because again you have to remember in UAE it might be slow wickets, but that doesn't guarantee you a lot of turn.
Yeah.
It can be very tricky in that sense. So I
Yep.
think maybe they want to keep one wicket taking option, spin option, in a Yuzi who you know is going to get you a couple of wickets
Yes.
per game.
Yes.
Then tell the other two, ensure that they don't look to
Yep.
accelerate.
Yep.
That is, I think, the USP. for now.
Yeah. So anyway, looking at the first impressions, maybe it's a fresh wicket. There is seam movement and there is a lot of skiddiness on the deck in Dubai. But since this is the first game, only 5 balls have been bowled.
Yeah, we'll have to wait.
By
and
the
watch.
end of this,
I think second innings will give us a better idea.
yes.
So
So that will be the case. Yep.
चलें फिर अभी.
Chale, because we have to. Oh, and this also looks to be
Fazal
out.
Haq Faruqi, my
Fazal Haq
goodness.
Faruqi, 2
You
wickets.
See that ball?
Yeah,
My
of course.
God.
And who is out? Is it Patum Nisanka? Oh man, it looks
I don't
pretty
think he's
plumb.
reviewing there.
Yeah, I think.
Was out. Was
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't. He's not going to review that, surely.
No, this is Charit Asalanka out for a golden duck. Wow.
Yeah, and that means Faruqi's on a hat trick.
Next over when he bowls. Yes. Fazal Haq Faruqi, what a man. Remember, Sunrisers Hyderabad did not have a good outing for them, but he did impress in patches.
How far in that swung?
Yeah.
I don't think the batsman was expecting it to get that much more.
Darting off the deck, 135 plus. Babar did say, like, if Shaheen was present, it would have been a difference maker.
Oh, absolutely. Oh God, imagine this sort of swing to someone like KL.
I hope the
It's not happening because Shaheen is not,
Not
there.
there.
no, but they have to play Pakistan. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, Afghanistan.
Yep. They'll have to
Very
play them
interesting.
depending because this is a tough group. Sri Lanka, Afghanistan, Bangladesh.
Actually, this group
They may or
pool
may not
B, I
have-
They
think.
may or may not make it.
Yeah.
If Afghanistan wins, then they're one step into the Super Fours because they'll play Bangladesh in their next game. Sri Lanka, they will not have it easy against Bangladesh. Let me tell you that. If
Oh yeah,
they-
that's a bit of a nice, feisty little rivalry.
always.
Lanka are my dark horse. Anyways,
They were
Yeah, the
all
dark
about
horse is
it.
2 wickets down the first over, but stranger things have
But
happened.
of course, Afghanistan is the darker horse.
Yeah.
Have to look at it.
So we'll be back for the mid innings, Afghanistan versus Sri Lanka, and post match. Let's see what happens.
I think if it goes like this, we're in for an easy night.
Let's not jinx it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.